Hi everyone, hope you're all doing good. Well, today I'm here with another recipe of making some tasty tomato chutney. Hope you enjoy that. Anyway, for tomatoes chutney, we would need some tomatoes, and here I'm taking around 4 to 5 pounds or 2 to 3 kg of tomatoes. It's a large size tomato, which is around 22 tomatoes I'm taking in here. So I got them in a good price at the store nearby, and I thought I'll make some chutney because I was having a lot. I brought like 4 packages of these nice red plum looking tomatoes. Well, the first thing you do is wash them and then put them in a little bit of water, which is almost covered, in a pan, and let it boil. Now, while this is boiling, I wanted to take you on a trip to the fall colors. I had taken this video during fall time, but I never got to it. So yeah, it was so beautiful, and we went biking as well. And while biking, there was a place near the dam, so we took some pictures there. It was amazing. Yeah, so coming back to our tomatoes, they are all boiled, and the skin is all cracked, and that is the sign that they are ready to be to go for the next step. So once you boil them like that, and you see the skin like cracked, they are so easy to take them off. Be careful, they are very hot at this point. Yeah, after you've drained the water, you take the skin off. So that's what I'm doing here, but my hands are like, oh, so hot. Anyway, I did that slowly. And then after you've taken the skin out, you also want to take the tip of the tomato where the tomato is attached to the plant. So because it's quite hard and it's not as soft as the other parts of the tomato, so that's what I'm doing here. You want this chutney to be nice and smooth with no big bits in your tomato chutney, right? So that is the reason why we take that off, and so that you have a nice soft smooth chutney. So yeah, it's a little bit of a process. It's hot, and so I was just using the fork and knife and just cutting them off. It's easy to take them off once you get the hang of it. So get all the skin off and the tip of the tomatoes off, all the tomatoes, and then put them in another bowl. So here, as you can see, the tomatoes have already reduced to half the bowl almost when we started, right? So yeah, this is gonna be reduced so much as tomatoes are full of water. So what I'm doing here is I'm just cutting them more, like making it easier for it to get mushy. So we're gonna just give them a rough cuts so that it's quicker for it to boil, and it has more air in between. So I'm just giving a rough chopped tomatoes kind of, and then put it in the stove top and get them boiling and cooking. So yeah, that's what we're gonna do next. This video was taken in sometime in October 2024 when there was a good harvest in various places, and so October 24, and we got a really good harvest, and there was so many tomatoes, and it is harvest season, right? And there was just, we harvested so many. So I made a lot of tomatoes chutneys in Canada and even in the US, where my mother-in-law and father-in-law live, and they had a lot of tomatoes, so I cooked some for them as well, and some for my family as well. So yeah, they all enjoyed it, and they were all asking for the recipe because it was so good. So if you have tomato harvesting, try this recipe, and I'm sure you would love it. So yeah, I've cut all of them roughly and put them in the stovetop and letting it boil now. So, yeah, you have to get them boiled and reduce it to get all the water out of the tomatoes, because you have to store it for a long time, right? And it stays for months actually in your fridge once you make this chutney. So as you can see here, it's starting to boil. It will take a long time. It's a long process, but it's so worth it because you're cooking for months, right? So yeah, once you do go through this process, it's like half a day job, but once you get it, it's like for months you have one side dish ready and all good to go. You just serve to your plate and enjoy it with your meal. So yeah, it's a very good recipe to have and make it and keep it and enjoy it. So while it is boiling, just make sure you stir it once in a while, making sure that nothing is sticking on the bottom because you're cooking this in almost medium to high flame, and as you want it to boil really well and get all the water out. So yeah, just keep stirring in between and making sure nothing is sticking in the bottom, because when there's water it won't stick, right? But when the water reduces, it will start sticking. Okay, so here I have some tamarind, and I'm taking a 1 golf ball size of tamarind, which you will soak it in hot water. So while the tamarind is soaking in the hot water, we'll come back to our tomatoes and keep stirring it along and checking how the water is reducing and making sure there's nothing sticking on the bottom of the pan. So yeah, keep stirring it really well, and at this point we don't have much to do but just making sure that the water is reduced really well and everything is nice and mushy. Did you know that tomatoes have such good health benefits? Well, for starters, they are vitamin C, and they are such good for your skin as well, and also for digestion. They are so good. Even cooked tomatoes, actually, they are just so healthy and so much nutrients they have in them, which is so good for you. Anyway, at this stage, while they are boiling vigorously, you add salt according to your taste. So don't add too much because this is going to reduce a lot. So I added a little bit, probably 1 teaspoon of salt, and let it boil along with the salt so that it absorbs really well. And then the next stage, now we are going to add the tamarind, which has been soaking in water. So here I crushed the tamarind and I just made sure that it's nice and mushy, and then you're going to take a strainer and start adding the tamarind water to your tomato chutney, and it has to boil along with the tomatoes. Now tamarind adds a little more tanginess and sour taste to the chutney, which will add so much flavor to our chutney. So because tomatoes already have that sour and tangy taste, this enhances it more, and also tamarind is very good for you as well. So yeah, just get some tamarind from one of the stores nearby and add that. I just, when you soak it, it becomes nice and soft and it separates from the seeds at all. Sometimes it's got the pits or the seeds in the tamarind, which you don't want. So that's the reason why we are straining them here. Okay, so now we are coming to the mid part of the this tomato chutney, and as you can see, there's some chunky bits which I'm gonna put it in a blender and make them into a smooth consistency. While that is being done, I'm taking another pan where I will add some spices and some good stuff which will add more flavor. So take a nice hot steel pan, and add some coconut oil to it. Now, we do need a lot of coconut oil. So just make sure that you have enough, because that is what we are going to use as a base for our tomatoes, which will, like, imagine 20 tomatoes. We need a good amount of coconut oil. So I'm taking about 2 tablespoons of coconut oil here, and to this we're going to add 2 whole garlic. So this is 2 whole garlic, and I've peeled them, and going to add that to this hot oil. And also I'm going to add 1 inch of ginger. So I'm adding about 1 inch of ginger to it as well. Just chop that also into small pieces, and then we'll add, so instead of adding ginger garlic paste, it's better to add whole ginger and whole garlic, because that tastes so good along with the chutney. That's bits which you don't really taste it, because it gets incorporated into the chutney. So here I've added 1 teaspoon of mustard seeds to this hot oil, and just wait for it to splutter really well. It is starting to splutter, and as soon as it has spluttered, we will add the ginger and garlic pieces to this hot oil. Just stir them really well, and make sure it turns nice and golden brown, and then we will add our spices to this. Now, we're not going to add any onions or anything, and we're just gonna stick to ginger garlic. And as you can see on my other side of my stove, I'm having my tomatoes still boiling there slowly and steadily, and you can see that I've taken those chunky pieces and I've put in a blender and made them nice and smooth so that it cooks evenly, all of them. So coming back to our ginger and garlic, which is nice and getting toasty, just keep stirring them until it turns nice and golden brown. So this has to be done in medium heat, and because let it cook, it needs to cook really well, and they will become nice and soft, and will incorporate with our chutney so well. And ginger garlic, oh, I don't even want to get started to the benefits of ginger and garlic. You should have ginger and garlic every day in your diet. They are so good for you, even for like cold and flus, or all kinds of, it has so much immunity. Like, for starters, it just has so much power of immunity in your body, and also it's so good for digestion. Ginger is so good for digestion. So yeah, that is something you should have every day in your diet. So as you can see, they are slowly turning golden brown. At this stage, you can start adding the spices. Now I've taken 1 teaspoon of turmeric to this. I'm gonna add turmeric, which is again so good for inflammation and colds and flus. It is so good for you. And then I'm going to add chili powder. So here I'm adding about 2 tablespoons of red chili powder. Now I'm adding Kashmiri red chili powder, which is good in color but not too spicy. I'm not keen on too spicy, which burns your mouth. I cannot handle too much spices. So spicy, I mean the heat level. Anyway, so yeah, I've added 2 tablespoons of red chili, Kashmiri red chili powder. If you like spicy and you like hot, make sure you add your spicy chili powder. That's totally fine, up to you. But somehow, personally, I like Kashmiri red chili powder, which is not as spicy as the normal one. Now, the next we are going to add is fenugreek. So I'm adding 1 teaspoon of fenugreek powder, which is also adds a lot of flavor. And also asafoetida, that is good for digestion, because that is a very important ingredient. So I'm adding 1 teaspoon of asafoetida to this, and yeah, now stir it all really well and let it get cooked along with our chopped ginger garlic, and let it roast all the spices together, and get it incorporated with each other. Now I'm adding some salt as well to this so that the spices and the ginger garlic absorbs the salt as well. And once you see it, the oil getting separated from the spices, you are good to go. Now the tomatoes are at a stage where they are like spitting so that's the reason why I had the lid on. So after these spices are nice and toasty, and the oil is now nice and shiny, you can add them to your tomato chutney, which is still boiling. We are not yet done. We just have to keep going. Just be patient. We will be done soon. So yeah, now is the stage where we've added our coconut oil along with the ginger garlic and the spices. So let it cook really well, and just put the lid on just for safety purposes, because it starts to spit, and splatter. And if you don't want a messy kitchen, just make sure that you put the lid on and stir it slowly and steadily. So yeah, this will take a few more minutes, and once it's nice and dry and you can see the oil coming out, yeah, you can see the oil coming out slowly, that's when you know that it's almost done. So yeah, it's looking good, and we are gonna toast it and fry it a little more. Yeah, so here we go. Now at this stage you need to be extra careful, because the water is all evaporated almost there, and there is a high possibility that it will start sticking on the bottom of the pan. So you don't want that, so just keep stirring it and making sure the bottom of the pan is nice and clean, and you get a good chutney which is not burnt. And you want the oil to come out really well. And I did add another tablespoon of coconut oil here, because you do need some oil to come out of the chutney, because that is what keeps it all together and adds the nice flavor to it. As you can see, I'm using the same pot. When we started, it was like almost full, and now you can see it's just probably half an inch of the pan. It is reduced so much. So yeah, that's what tomatoes are, just full of water, and we have taken all that out and got the good stuff in. And that is why it tastes so good. It tastes so rich and so delicious. So yeah, this is almost done, and you can see the oil nice and bubbly at the side of the pan, and at this stage we are almost done. Yay. It took me almost half a day to get this done. I was doing it all by myself, and but I was glad I was done, and I got about 1 mason jar full of chutney, which I used for months, and my husband and I, we enjoyed it so much. So yeah, I hope you try this at home, and make sure you make it and let me know in the comments how you did, and come back again for more recipes like these. And I hope you enjoy watching my videos. And as you can see, the oil is coming off the tomatoes so well, so that is the sign that it is all done. Well, this is the stage where you can switch it off. Yeah, that is how it should look like. I mean, see, there is absolutely no water, and it's nice and chutney consistency, and the oil is nice and bubbly. So yeah, it's like tomato paste. Basically it looks like that, and the oil is oozing out of the chutney, and that is the stage where you can switch it off. Anyway, thanks for watching, and please do like and subscribe to my channel, which will help me and support me. Bye for now.